I think that content marketing, making posts on social media for your brand to try and make more sales, is one of the most misunderstood types of marketing that everybody tries to use and basically nobody gets any results with. Now, the reason for this is that 99% of brands use content marketing as a short-term strategy when it's never been a short-term strategy. It's a long-term strategy. In this video, I'm gonna break down why most brands don't get any results with content marketing. I'm gonna explain the different types of content and when you need to post them for your brand, how frequently. This is gonna be a perfect guide for you to learn how to do content marketing right for the first time to really start getting some serious results for your brand. I hope you enjoy. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd. If you struggle with designs, I really recommend that you try them out. You post a project on Design Crowd. Amazingly talented designers from all around the world are going to compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. I've sold thousands of these designs on my website and I got them all made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. All right, so I'm about to go crazy in depth here with content marketing, and I just need you to be a little bit patient with me while I work my way through this, because I promise by the end of this video, you're gonna have an insanely new way to look at content marketing for your clothing brand. So let's just start at the top here and work our way deeper and deeper into the nuances of content marketing. What even is content marketing? Content marketing is posting on social media with the hopes of getting attention from your target audience, nurturing them and developing trust with them, and hopefully eventually doing business with them. The big issue that most brands face when they try to do content marketing for their brand is that they view it as a short-term strategy rather than a long-term strategy, and they're constantly trying to go in for the kill right from the very beginning. And I need to explain to you the different types of content that you can post on social media and break down how this works for you so that you can understand it better. The way to think about this is that there are 3 types of content that you can post for your brand. Each of these types of content has a completely different purpose, and they're all essential in order for you to get results. The first type of content is awareness content. The second type is nurturing content, and the third type is conversion content. Now, what is the purpose of each of these types of content, and when should you be posting them, and how should you be using them? Awareness content are posts that you're making that have the sole intention of connecting with your target audience. They shouldn't even necessarily be about your brand, mentioning your brand. It's simply a top of the funnel type of content that you post to connect with your target audience, to build up an audience, to build up a following, and to get that initial attention on your accounts, on your social media, and for your brand in general. Awareness content are the posts that you should be making the most, that most brands make the least for their brand. And it's because most brands have a hang up around this where they can't understand how posting awareness content that's not even talking about their brand will inevitably lead to them making sales for their brand. And I promise, by the end of this video, I'm gonna lay it out perfectly and you're gonna understand exactly how this works. I wanna give you an example of awareness content using my own clothing brand. I run a Canadian clothing brand called K-Bud, K-A-Y-B-A-H-D Apparel on TikTok and on Instagram Reels. You can check it out. All the awareness content for my brand is making posts about things that are funny that happen in small town Canada and in rural Canada. Because I know that if people are resonating with that emotionally, they're finding it funny and they're following us, they are our target audience for our clothing brand. And I'm basically reeling them in. I've casted a very wide net for small town Canada, and I'm reeling in people that would be interested in my brand. Now, the reason why this content is so important for my brand is that if I was just trying to post my hoodies over and over again and post the t-shirts and just try and sell, those types of posts come across as if you're having an agenda, you've got some crazy intent to just try and make money and to try and sell 24/7, and those posts just don't do as well. The posts that get 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, a million, 5 million views on TikTok are the ones that don't have any agenda. They're just clearly offering value. Now, I already know that the next question is gonna be, well, if you're just posting content that's not even about your brand, how are people even gonna know that you have a clothing brand, make their way to your website, and want to buy from you? Well, there's another type of content, the second type of content that I want to talk about, called nurturing content. Nurturing content is where you're indirectly talking about your clothing brand in your content. You're indirectly referring to it through either talking about your brand story, through mentioning it in the content that you have, through just wearing the clothing that you have in your content, where people are able to discover and click in their head that you actually are a clothing brand without you actually going in directly for the kill. So for my clothing brand, I have tons of content where I'm talking about how we've gotten our clothing worn by certain people in a certain TV show and how it was a great experience to do that. That's an example of nurturing content where people are sort of discovering that you have a brand without being like, here's a t-shirt, go buy it. Now, the last type of content is conversion content. This is any content that you're sharing with your clothing brand that is directly selling your clothing. Maybe you have a 30% offer for Black Friday, or you just dropped a new release for your clothing brand and you want to share that on social media, or you're just selling a cool design that you have and you're trying to get that out there. That would be conversion content that's focused on literally just sharing your products and trying to sell. Now, what's really important here is how frequently you're posting awareness, nurturing, and conversion content. Awareness content, you want to be posting roughly 80% of the time. And most brands post conversion content 80% of the time. A lot of clothing brands that I've come across post conversion content 100% of the time and don't have any value content out there. And that's just completely the wrong way to do content marketing. You want to be doing awareness content 80% of the time. Nurturing and conversion content, you want to do the remaining 20% of the time. Now, we've reached a crescendo in this video where you're likely thinking this won't work for you. I've tried this before. It's never going to work. And I'm about to break that belief right now because I'm going to show you an example of somebody who's done this textbook, and I'm going to illustrate this for you perfectly. There's a clothing company on TikTok called Strawberry Milk Mob. This girl has millions of followers, millions of sales, and she's absolutely crushing it. Her whole strategy is executing content marketing well. And what she does, if you go and look at her account on TikTok, at least 80% of all of her videos are literally just her on TikTok talking about things that are happening in her day, saying things that are funny, and connecting with her target audience on TikTok. In most of her content, she's not mentioning her bikini line at all. It's literally just funny content that's connecting with her audience. It's all going viral because she doesn't have an agenda. She's not trying to sell in all of her content. She's just truly, genuinely being herself and being funny. And from doing that very regularly, posting 10 to 12 times a day, she's built up a massive following. Now, here's where the nuances kick in. Because she has such a big following of millions of people that watch all of her videos, when she does go in for the jab, when she does go in for the right hook, her videos are accumulating so many views that even if her conversion content doesn't perform as well as her awareness content, it still ends up getting like 60,000, 80,000, 120,000 views. Because she has such a massive audience, even a small portion of views for her giant, massive audience is still a lot of views to be seeing her conversion content. To put this into context, imagine if all of the posts that you were making for your clothing brand, about your hoodies, about your t-shirts, were getting 60,000, 80,000, 100,000 views like every time that you did it. Imagine how insane that would be for driving traffic to your website and getting sales. Well, even though her awareness content's getting 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million views, her conversion content's still getting like 50,000, 100,000. So it's still driving like 100,000 people to the website. And this is all about getting the small portion of an absolutely massive pie and how impactful that can be for your brand. So to be clear here, the way that you want to think about this is when you have a massive audience, even a small portion of that audience is still a massive audience. And even though your conversion content will tend to not perform as good as your awareness content because there's an agenda behind it, because you're trying to sell something, if you're getting it in front of a small portion of your massive audience, it's still going to be extremely effective at driving an unbelievable amount of sales for your brand. Now, right when you thought that this video couldn't get any better, I'm about to drop some even more insanely valuable notes here when it comes to content marketing. The way that you want to think about this is not all of your awareness posts are going to go viral. A lot of them aren't going to work for you, and you're basically just getting the bad content out. There's a stand-up comedian named Anthony Jeselnik who talks about how when he writes comedy for his stand-up routines, that he'll write 100 jokes and maybe only end up using 1 or 2 of them in his stand-up routines. And it's going to be the same with your TikTok strategy. A lot of the content that you're posting on a daily basis won't go viral, but you're getting closer and closer to what's connecting and to what's working, and it'll get better and better over time. And even if one video goes viral every couple days and you do that regularly, that's like a few videos every single week that are going viral, that are building up your clothing brand, and it all compounds on itself. And that's how you build up an audience fairly quickly. So I've literally just given you something that so few people understand when it comes to marketing their brands online using social media that I hope you put in place and that I hope gets you absolutely amazing results, and I hope you enjoy it. If you're thinking about starting up a clothing brand or already running one, I highly recommend you check out the Apparel Success Mastermind at apparelsuccessmastermind.com. We've got live hangouts, there's courses in there, there's a community chat, you have direct access to me, and it's just a great place for clothing brand owners to learn and grow. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.